Welcome to the ChungaBunga Podcast. I am joined by my compatriots, Cody.
Yo, what's up,
and
everybody?
Chris.
Hello, hello.
And our special guest today, Ramiro from Twitch TV/Ramagali.
What's up, everybody?
All right, we got a great episode for you today. There's been a lot of stuff that has been announced, released, and just talked about throughout the week. Before I get to that, I just want to do a little spotlight for our console players. So the PlayStation sale is going on right now, 75% off some of the best PlayStation games right now, as well as some other stuff that you might like. But for our console guys, get on your PlayStations. We're not talking about Xbox because we'll talk about them later. But for right now, get on your PlayStations, get out the PlayStation Store, spend some bucks. We know you got it.
And some notable mentions based on that. Tetris Effect is 50% off. That's a really good Tetris game for you guys if you want to check that out. And Resident Evil 7, which is also 50% off and would be a good time since we just saw the trailer for Resident Evil 8.
Definitely. You heard it here. Some good, wholesome games to play while you're at home.
I mean, if you call losing your hand in the beginning of a campaign wholesome, yeah.
Family-friendly entertainment, almost as good as PC.
Almost, but not quite.
Even.
Just
PC
not
Master Race still.
Trying to be nice.
All right, let's kick it off. So with the most recent news right now, just a couple of things I want to say. Pokemon Snap. If you are as old as we are, aged not disclosed,
Old.
you will love Pokemon Snap, and you will love the new Pokemon Snap. It's looking like it's going to have even the newer Pokemon that you've seen in like Sword and Shield or any of the new Pokemon shows. I love the game. Do you guys have any experiences with that? With Pokemon Snap?
I do. I have very wholesome experience. It's back when Toys R Us used to be a thing. Oh, damn, I'm showing my age. We used to go to the Toys R Us, and there used to be these kiosks with the N64 connected to them with Pokemon Snap, and I used to just spend minutes on end while my mom bought stuff for other people, and I wanted a video game.
Oh, we've all been there.
It was all right.
Ignoring that comment.
You know, so coming from a dad, happy Father's Day to me. I know. Okay.
Wow.
The whole Pokemon stuff, man. I'm so excited. I love Pokemon. I played every single game except Sword and Shield, and I'm so upset because every time I go to try and play it, I only have one Switch. My 5-year-old will not let me play that Switch. Not alone. So
Not on his watch.
I feel it.
He tries to take over. It sucks. Happy Father's Day, by the way, Ishman.
Happy Father's Day, Co.
Yeah,
and I have a similar story. We have one Switch, and every time I try to play Pokemon, my son tries to play Luigi's Mansion. So,
Oh no.
Nice.
I'm in the same spot. And also, happy Father's Day to any of our listeners that are fathers, and for those that are not, eventually, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, eventually, at some point, maybe. Who knows?
And a special shout out to my father, who will be listening to this tomorrow. Happy Father's Day. Hope to see you soon.
Father's Day.
All right. Happy Father's Day,
Happy
everybody.
Father's
Let's
Day.
go. All right, let's go.
Okay, so Pokemon Snap, and we're gonna get some gameplay of Halo Infinite next month. That's what's been told. That's what we're hoping for, and we're also hoping for a release the holiday season. As long as there's no delays, it should be fine.
Really excited about Halo Infinite.
Super
Oh,
excited.
yeah. I haven't touched a Halo game since, what, 360?
Oh man.
Probably, yeah.
Chris
I mean, I
plays
remember.
Halo all the time.
Yeah, he plays
Form of
pretend Halo all the time.
Hey. Some call it the poor man's Halo, but hey, don't hate.
I
Don't
mean,
hate.
I wouldn't call it Halo, but I would call it a poor man's something.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yes,
Man's
we've all
excuse
had
of an MMO.
our experiences with Halo. Mine was like playing Halo 3 a whole bunch during high school. Wonderful game. The best time I've ever had playing online anything.
The level creations were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the fun little games you could play.
Oh yeah.
I was never even interested in first-person shooters until I played the first Halo.
Classic.
I think
What got me into the whole genre.
my first experience was Halo 3. I think I was trying to play like with the sword fight or whatever, and then I ended up just getting hack slashed half the time, and I was like, great, I'm not having a good time. And then eventually I got good.
Was that Halo? Was that Halo 2 that had the glitch where you can like vault across the entire map with the sword?
Oh God.
God.
Do you remember that? Anybody?
If any of our audience remembers that, let us know, because
For
that
real.
sounds super familiar, but I can't put
Yeah.
my finger on when.
Yeah.
But
Our buddy
for
Matt
those two,
remembers. I know that.
I know 100% he remembers that Matt guy, man, freaking Matt. So for those who like Halo, don't want to wait for Halo Infinite just yet, or don't want to wait for it at all. Rather, you can play the older games. So you can get what it is: Halo Reach, Halo 1, Halo 2 right now on the Master Chief Collection for PC and Microsoft Windows. I believe also Xbox, but you know,
Box as
if
well.
if you have that.
If you want a
And
lesser experience.
and Halo 3 went into a form of beta testing, I believe, this month. So we'll probably be seeing that relatively soon. So you can go back and live your wonderful, wonderful young years of being the basement champ or being the high school champion at Halo 3.
Yeah, I mean, I know when Halo 2 first launched, it launched with a lot of bugs and issues, so I'm hoping that they have resolved whatever issues caused those and have a good release.
I just want to stick like traffic cones with grenades and shoot them with a sniper rifle and kill somebody somehow. That's all.
So you're the worst kind of evil is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. Anyways, we got other news here. We were watching a couple of streams and we were playing a couple of games. One of them in particular, one that we actually streamed recently, is called Out of Reach Treasure Royale. Now, me and Ko have had a wonderful time with this game. It is the battle royale if you want to do some Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
It's so fun, yet like so poorly designed, right? Like, so it's not glitchy in the sense of poorly designed. It's just like it's very old, right? It feels like something that was made in like 2011. Like if you guys know what Mountain Blade is, it feels like that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But
Dude.
but as a pirate game and a battle royale game, and they did it really. There's a lot of things that they can fix, like most games, but they executed this game very, very well, and I'm surprised.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, for it being a demo, I still can't believe you guys managed to make me download it and play with you guys last night. It was a highlight for sure.
I can't believe somebody joined in from your Twitch stream to play with us as well.
For real. I honestly didn't think that was gonna happen, but it happened. I'm just glad it did. And shout out to my boy Pedro for doing that, though.
Shout out to Pedro.
The homie Pedro.
Nah, man, but those mechanics, the Cthulhu like spawning ship and like the battle royale mode, the idol, the gulag, even like all that was all really good.
Definitely.
Man, sounds like I missed out on quite the adventure.
Did you? Because next thing, the first thing I noticed on the first match was, what are you doing? Oh crap, Ish is dead. What happened?
I was stabbed in the back. But you guys can check that out on our stream, or you can check it out on Ramiro's stream. But we also got for our RPG and our D&D fans, we got a couple of things here. First, I believe Chris and I had a chance to check out Solasta, Crown of the Magister.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Chris, I'm gonna let you take the helm on this one because you're the D&D guy.
So this game is very, very strictly based off the D&D 5e rule set. And I mean, even some of the UI design is like, it looks like you're looking at like a page from the book. From what I understand, Solasta, I believe, is their continent because they basically created their own like D&D world. Like you would see, in like Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, with their Exandria continent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still in development. It's not set to release until sometime, I believe, early next year. But there is a playable demo on Steam right now that you can try out. It gives you about an hour's worth of gameplay, and it introduces their character builder, which sadly you can't actually use the characters you make, but it shows you like how in-depth and true to D&D like their character creation is, between picking their races and sub-races, their classes, personality traits, origins, all that good stuff. It's all there. And I mean, good on them. I mean, obviously, especially the camera work, there's still some issues and kinks that need to be worked out, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be a great game. I mean, unfortunately, single player, but we could talk about that.
Look, there are a lot of great games out there that are single player that we can all list from the top of our heads, like Final Fantasy X. You can fight me on that. Final Fantasy 15. There's also like The Evil Within. Like, it's single player campaign games are seriously like underrated. Like, they're the best.
That's very true. I mean, even Ish and I were talking about how, what was it, like Steam has like their share play or something.
Yeah.
Ish. Like, we were trying to figure out ways that we can like jimmy in like multiplayer aspects into the game so we can play it together.
That's something that you want to do when you're playing D&D. Like myself and Chris, I believe, we've played Pathfinder Kingmaker,
Yes.
and it's just there's this feeling that you miss when you just don't play D&D with another person or another set of people. There's just a lot of the charm that you lose. You know what I mean? In like having to create this entire world and immerse yourself in this world by yourself. And I feel like, something like what we're going to talk about next, like Baldur's Gate 3 has the right idea, and Larian Studios, they have the right idea to like bring everyone together for this one experience. Like, sure, you can play it the way that you want to, and it may not reflect the same way other people want to play, but it gives that extra bit of like emphasis on like a sitting down on a table and playing with your homies or playing with these new strangers that you just met. With that said, though, and with Thalassa, I know Ramiro also plays Dungeons and Dragons from time to time.
I sure do.
What would your thought be on being able to play like a D&D experience, like a digital tabletop D&D experience with other people?
I mean, I think that would be wonderful and very imaginative, because you can only get so far by the power of your imagination. Like, there's not so much that would be lost in translation between other players of how like a certain species or whatever would look, and it would just make everything an overall pleasant experience. Like, I'd be giddy to play that every single day if I could, bring you guys along or whoever. Like, that'd be fun.
Cool. Because that brings us up to, like I said, our next topic, Baldur's Gate 3. Which was shown off just recently. What was the date on that it was shown off, Chris? Do you remember? We were watching that stream.
I believe it was Tuesday.
I think so too. And we saw a lot of the actual gameplay elements. I believe we saw about an hour and a half of gameplay for that game. And Larian Studios, known for their popular Divinity series and their new title, Divinity Original Sin 2, or rather most recent, just got an update. So there's going to be a whole new way to play that as well. But what I'm getting at is this, my friend, is the quintessential multiplayer D&D experience. We got a chance to look at it, right, Chris? There were some things that you were like, maybe that was not as true to D&D as it could be, but I believe you had a couple of things to say about it.
Yes. Actually, first of all, it was my mistake. It was the stream was actually on Thursday.
Okay.
The game looks beautiful. The music is beautiful. I mean, the characters just from the little teaser easily can fall in love with. Like, one of the things when they were discussing how they were going to handle stuff like taking a reaction, like where Solus is sticking a little more true to D&D, in which certain actions that the enemy takes will prompt up like a pop-up window asking if you want to take a certain reaction. Baldur's Gate seems to be opting into where you have to enable that reaction. So before your turn ends, you would click on something on a UI screen that they're working on and say, okay, if the enemy walks away from me, I'll take my attack of opportunity, or if they cast a spell at me, I'm going to cast counter spell at this level, which at first I didn't like, because like I'm a purist with like a lot of things. Like if it's going to be D&D 5e, it's got to stick to it. But it adds a layer of complexity and strategy to the game that it just makes sense that in a video game that you might go about doing it that way. Yeah. They're taking liberties that they feel will enhance the game. And I mean, at least from what I can tell, it seems like they're heading in the right direction. I still have questions on like, if they're still limiting the amount of spells you can use a day with your spell slots, because it didn't seem like it at first, but then it kind of did seem like it because they had their spells broken up into the levels. So there's still some questions that I have about it, but I mean, so far so good. I mean, I'm still new to these types of games, but I was blown away by everything that I saw.
I want to talk about what we've been doing this week, since we don't really get to talk about that extremely often.
So what I've been doing recently has been, obviously, other than Out of Reach, I've been playing, well, with you, I've been playing Code Vein. We were on that hype train from Demon Souls, and we got excited.
Somebody got excited.
A little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm still gonna finish it. I
mean, I have to. I bought it. Now I have to.
And then
we've all come across that.
We also, like, last week started playing some more Dark Souls 3. We made a new character.
Yeah,
that's like fair and keep so far, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. We got there pretty quick too.
Other than that, man, I've just been playing World of Warcraft. I'm in like one of the top guilds in the US, like number 8 for a little while. Mm-hmm. Been playing some Overwatch, just, shooter games, a little bit of Escape from Tarkov. Mm-hmm. Last week I was playing a little bit of Destiny 2 with Chris,
Good man.
I couldn't just talk crap on it and not play it, with the new expansions and blah blah, but I'm still disappointed in it, man. The whole progression system is just so bad.
I love how there was a contrast to be like, yeah, I was playing last week, and then you said nothing about playing it this week. Not at all.
No. Dead serious. The progression system, it's super easy and cheese just to get up to like a certain point. Then when you get to that certain point, you literally have to wait for like weekly quests or whatever to progress any further with your item level, which is called light level in that game. And I'm at that point. I hit like 400 light level, and now it's like I'm only going to go up, freaking one item at a time every week, And that's if
that already sounds exhausting.
Yeah, and that's if I don't get a repeated item. So, like, say I get a 410 item or a light level pair of boots, and then my next time I do a quest that's supposed to give me an upgrade, it gives me the same pair of boots,
Right.
So,
and that lies a problem that I've been telling a lot of people, is that we're like, people like me are so used to like these horrible systems and how they're implemented that we forget that for new people, they're not used to it. And that's an issue. That's why these things need to be fixed, and we can't just ignore them like we have been.
Yeah. Well, that's Destiny talk. What did you do this week, Chris?
Well, I, of course, me being me, have been playing a lot of Destiny 2 since their new Season of the Arrivals, started, I believe, on the 9th of this month. And like I was just saying, for someone who is used to these systems and how broken and boring some of the things are, I was very pleasantly surprised by this season. It actually has story content, decently developed story content, at least compared to what we've been getting in terms of like the seasons. A lot of the new weapons are pretty cool. Extremely disappointed that they are retiring all old gear. So anything like you got up to a certain point in the game, you're just not going to be able to upgrade anymore, because they want to flip it and re-release it in the future instead of releasing new content. So that's going to be pleasant. So, which is actually one of the main reasons why I'm playing to re-gear. Other than that, my first impressions, very good for it being a Destiny DLC. But I'm going to wait and hold on my final judgment until the season progresses more. I also played Pokemon Sword, Isle of Armor, the new expansion. I love Pokemon, so this is going to be really hard to say, but I was extremely disappointed by that DLC. And, I mean, this is coming from someone who tolerates Destiny 2, so that should speak volumes. The story was bland. This is post-game content, and no one even acknowledge that you were the champion. They treated you like you were a nobody and that you didn't know what you were. It seemed like it was content ripped from the early game for whatever reason, and then they were like, "Hey, let's just release it as post game content." It's cool they added new Pokemon. Well, I should say old Pokemon that should have been in the game since day one. But they brought some back. That's nice.
Any notable mentions?
Hypno.
Hypno. They brought back Rockruff, which is cool. Squirtle, my boy Squirtle. I'm a Blastoise man myself. But yeah, I mean, other than the little bit of story content, I mean, it's pretty much just the same. I mean, the downgraded textures when you're in the wild area, turn on internet and experience lag like never before. Just glaring issues that just weren't fixed still. But I mean, it's nice that we got new content, but it'd be really nice if Game Freak actually took the time to like fix those issues.
Especially since that's like pretty heavily paid content, right? That was pretty expensive.
Well, it's $30 for like this expansion and the next one that comes out in like a few months. But still, it's kind of like it was a huge issue. I was super excited, and then once I flipped on internet and just saw the texture quality drop even more, and then just running around like I'm playing on dial-up. I mean, I don't know if it's the Switch or if it's Game Freak's engine or what, but there's just a huge issue with how like the game is performing when it comes to like the textures and everything. Like it just something can't handle what they're doing, and I don't know. I think there's a better way that they could have implemented something like the wild area.
Yeah, it's the thing that most games get wrong, dude. The netcode.
Yeah.
Please don't get me started on netcode.
Don't get me started on netcodes.
Because I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters this week, and we all know that despite it being a really best-selling game, it has a notoriously bad netcode.
She kicks my ass to that game all the time.
True, I do.
Come see me for a round.
And in turn, Ramiro
You might win. No.
Ramiro gets the better of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When I get the better of him.
Oh, it's pretty brutal.
It's pretty brutal.
I'm just getting ChungaBunga'd by a friggin' Super Broly, and I'm just sitting here going, how did I not? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we need to get some Dolphin emulator Smash going on again.
I just downloaded Dolphin Emulator Smash yesterday.
Yeah,
okay.
They have like an updated Project M that they've been working on. They added Knuckles to it. It's really cool.
Okay, now I gotta know, what the hell is this?
Dolphin emulator?
Oh, dude, yes, I gotta see this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I'll fill you in later, but yeah, Dolphin emulator is like a GameCube / Wii emulator, and you can like net play against each other on certain games. It's really, really nice.
Oh,
Games that, of course, you legally purchased and ripped onto the computer, because we here at the ChungaBunga Podcast do not support piracy at all.
No.
Sponsored
The only piracy
Nintendo.
The only piracy we support is Out of Reach Treasure Royale out right now on Steam. It's just a demo.
If we can peer pressure people on my stream to download this game, we can peer pressure you all right now to download this game.
Definitely.
Reaching for that sponsorship.
Is that pretty much your week, Chris?
Yes, that's pretty much been my week. Just mostly Destiny, that, and I believe you and I were also even talking about starting up some good old Divinity 2 pretty soon.
Yeah, that's going to be something to look forward to.
Definitely.
Not extremely a streamable game, but we'll more than likely put it up anyways. Just because it's just everybody's got to experience Divinity, man. That's some philosophical shit right there.
It's a fantastic game. And did we miss telling people that the early access for Baldur's Gate might be coming at the end of August, correct?
Correct. Well, correct to say might be. Might even be more correct to say maybe, because that's what Larian Studios gave us. They said 2020 August, maybe. So, we'll see. They're pretty good at sticking to their word as far as like, if they say something, it's going to happen. I put my trust into them. Let's move on. Graham.
Yo.
Hero. Tell us about your week, man.
Let's see. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters, like you already know. I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends halfway through the season, which they are now doing cross-platform and a Switch port coming out simultaneously, I think by the fall, if I remember correctly. And I've been recently getting into Skullgirls because I just recently signed up for Evo. So we'll see how that goes. I've been trying to learn Philia, Cerebella, and Parasol. So if you guys know any good tips and tricks, let me know. And yeah, that's been pretty much my week.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. For those who don't know about Evo, can you tell us a little bit about Evo?
Right. So Evo is short for Evolution Fighting Game Tournament. It's been around for a couple years now, more than a decade, I believe. It used to be hosted every year in Vegas, but now because of COVID, obviously they're doing an online registration for 4 games with particularly really good netcode, which is Killer Instinct, Them Fighting Herds, Skullgirls, and Mortal Kombat Aftermath. So registration's still open for those of you that are really good at fighting games and maybe want to fight me. Who knows? So that's pretty much it. And at the end, you either gain recognition, money, and sponsorship, I believe.
Yeah, that is exactly the reward for being the best. Yeah, I guess if that's been your week, I guess it's my turn. My week consisted of getting people to play Out of Reach Treasure Royale.
Well, I guess
Really good for that sponsorship.
okay. So now I feel really bad because that actually was the highlight of my week, and that was yesterday.
Yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, that just happened. So, for those of you that don't know, they managed to guilt trip me, not really guilt trip me, peer pressure me is a more accurate phrase, into downloading Out of Reach because of how fun they said it was. And when I said I did not regret that 10 gigabyte download, I mean it. I don't regret it. I got to walk into some fun, awkward times, particularly between Chris and Ish, and it was a battle royale game. So, as a guy that plays mostly FPSs, I can't really say no to that.
Yeah.
And by fun, awkward times, he means Chris shooting, like stabbing him in the back of the head.
Never happened.
Not
Never
only that,
happened.
but giving Ish tinnitus by shooting the rifle over his shoulder.
Yeah, that actually was louder than I thought it would be.
So see, there you go. It causes real life tinnitus as it does in the game.
So I'd like to just mention the peer pressure that was added on Ramiro was, hey man, download this game.
All right, man.
That was it. I swear to God, that was it.
I'm not normally that easy to peer pressure, but when it is, it's usually Ish. I mean, when you hear this dude's voice, you can't help but not say no.
It's so true.
If you could hear the way Ish talked to him, ladies and gentlemen, you would understand why he said peer pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's hard to say no to this guy.
Oh yeah, it was definitely P pressure of something.
There's no PP left for that move. What?
So, so I also had a chance to stream a game that I was looking at called Ghost Runner. That's going to be on my page. There'll be a link to that in the description. That is an amazing Genji simulator. If you like running games, things like Mirror's Edge, you'll like this. It's like if Mirror's Edge, you would have like a sword instead of like the gun, and you have a grappling hook. There's not too much I want to say about it just because it was a demo. I mean, sure, it took me 20 minutes to beat it, haha, but it's still just a demo, and it's still just like a couple of things that you can do. Like, you can dodge in midair, and it'll cause like this slow down time effect, which is really cool.
So it's it's like Genji mixed with Tracer mixed with Widowmaker as a Mirror's Edge. Like the Widow grappling hook, the Genji deflect, and the Tracer time skip.
I mean, if you want to add it like that, you might as well say it's like Bayonetta 2 with her time slowdown or her time stop.
Fair.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff mixed together into a running game. And it was really cool. I wish the kills looked a little better because it kind of just looks like you're sliding through people. But, I'm sure we're going to get more closer to its release. A couple other things I checked out this week were 30XX, which is the sequel to 20XX. It's a game set 1,000 years into the future of the last game, and what that is it's like Mega Man. If you guys didn't like Mighty Number 9,
we all didn't.
Then this is the game for you. Not only does it run better, not only are the skills cooler, not even is the character way more interesting, it's multiplayer online. So 20XX on Steam. Pick it up. Wonderful game. Wonderful bosses, robot bosses. Wonderful abilities. Movement's dope. Mega Man.
I also feel like I've let down you guys because I've never heard of 20XX and 30XX until just fairly recently when you guys told me about it. So I went out of my way to check out some stuff, and boy, howdy, is it such a breath of fresh air.
I'm hoping that they do something like this for the Mega Man EXE games or the Battle Network games, if you guys are more familiar with that. But I'll take what I can get. I was saying 30XX is a demo on Steam right now, so pick that up. It's free. Check it out.
Take what you can get, but don't take number 9. Trust me, Mighty Number 9. Don't do it.
No. I love that guy, but
just no.
Don't pick up his game. Sorry.
But other games you could pick up, notable mentions are Azure Striker Gunvolt, which was an amazing game series that they put after Mega Man Zero and Mega Man X. All of those collections for all those aforementioned games are on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and the Switch now. So check them out.
Yes, please do. As was mentioned before, I played some Code Vein. I'm really not about it. I really wanted to be like, this is fun. I'm having a fun time, but there's nothing about it that I like other than going to the hub world and playing the piano. That was my only. That was the only thing that I actually liked about that game.
I mean, I've only gotten to the hub world, so I can't say much. But so far, I was disappointed in how much I wanted it to be like Dark Souls and how much it wasn't like Dark Souls.
Nah.
This is why you have to set your expectations low, so when you won't be as disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. I played a little bit of Tarkov. In its state right now, I can't defend purchasing it, but I'm sure my cohorts here would definitely recommend it regardless.
I wouldn't.
Of my opinion. Well, Ram won't, but the other two guys, they will.
Highly suggest purchasing it.
Other than that, I've just been fumbling around, obviously making mistakes like today, and just checking out what's been going on. I mean, that's basically been our week as a whole. So let me get back into some real news, some real stuff that you guys would like to hear. One of the most anticipated games, one of the most exciting looking games, not of all time, but of very recent years, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, no.
We get some news about that this week. So what happened was that game got delayed for 2 more months. There will be a stream for it. What is it called? It's called the Night City Wire event. That we'll get a stream for in, was it Tuesday, Wednesday,
June
something
25th.
like that. June 25th. Make it easier for everybody. So yeah, it's been delayed. Everybody loves it, but they don't love waiting. Just like another game that we have on the docket here, Last of Us. Last of Us 2.
Ah, man.
So the way I feel about like games this big getting pushed back is like it's bad news because everybody just wants to play it, but it's good news because if they're pushing it back, that means they're actually doing some sort of quality control, so it's kind of good, you know?
But it's also a double-edged sword, because if we look at a game like Kingdom Hearts 3, that game was pushed back for so long, and we got the final product. It was just like the biggest, okay.
It was the biggest middle finger.
You're playing a Disney Final Fantasy. I mean, come on.
I mean,
that's not fair.
That's not fair. Hey, Kingdom Hearts 2 is arguably one of the best sequels of all time. Kingdom Hearts 2 made that franchise, in my opinion. Yeah. So when you get a game that set the bar so high with a story, like a cohesive story, like potential to go anywhere, they decided to make 3.
Yeah, let's go rescue all the Disney characters using Final Fantasy characters.
Yes.
Like I never in a million years I thought I would support or like indulge a game where you had Donald Duck as a healer and Goofy as like a tank. But it works. Like if you get past the brutalness of part 1, because that's just too campy and cheesy for my blood, you get the sweet spot with 2. So when you get what was it, like a 10-year wait full of pushbacks and whatnot for Kingdom Hearts 3, that you get the ultimate middle finger. It was just like, we're gonna make this game super easy for you guys. Oh, it's super easy, cool. We'll add an extra hard mode like 6 months after development. And then after that, a year later, like, oh, here's some more for the story. You guys weren't satisfied with the ending? Here, pay for this $30 DLC for comprehensive side bosses and all this. I'm like, great, just release the final mix. And then just recently they announced another DLC, and I'm just like, let it end, please.
Oh no.
So I have something to add to this.
Oh,
I have something to add. One sec. All right. So Ram said you get Donald as a healer and Goofy as a tank. I will say that Donald Duck in Kingdom Hearts is not a fucking healer, first of all, because I've never seen him use that fucking heal ability. Okay?
Okay, that's fair. For those of you that don't know or have never played the series, Donald Duck is supposed to be a mage. He's supposed to do magic, and when you're on critical levels, he's supposed to heal you. But the running gag is that the dude never heals you.
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
I have exhausted my potions well before he's ever healed me in that game.
He is the one AI they have yet to get right in any Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, you can see Goofy just flying around on his fucking shield, and Donald's just sitting. He's just sitting in the back, dude.
What makes it worse is that Goofy heals me way more than Donald does.
Yeah.
You give the dude enough potions and elixirs, and he'll be like, Sora! And he heals you.
Yeah, you'll never hear. I can't do the Donald Duck voice, but you'll never hear that voice ever. You could be fighting like the last boss or the optional boss, and you still won't hear that fucking sound.
He is so useless that when you play these battles, it just makes it like Sora alone. You don't even notice that he's gone.
You can okay. So the thing is, you can make it so that some of his spells are not even like used during like critical events, and he still won't heal you.
Mm-hmm.
He will still use thunder or something before he heals you.
That, or he'll just finally try to heal you, and the boss just kills him mid-heal. Jesus. And then to segue off of that, then we had Final Fantasy 15. They had a day one edition, they did the whole 9, and then they released a crap load of DLC.
And then
Yeah.
and then they did it.
And then they didn't, and then they gave an ultimate middle finger to everybody else. Like, oh, you guys bought this with the season pass and all the DLC? Cool. Here's the base game with all the DLC at half off. It's obviously a sore spot.
That's like what happened to Mortal Kombat.
See? Exactly. Like this is a sore spot for me, and I get it. People need to make money, DLC, blah 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 blah. But if people can just make a quality game before you release DLC and have the DLC expand on it, that'd be fantastic.
I want to take a second to give a shout out to Kiltridge on our stream chat. Tell us a little bit about what you want us to hear or see right now or on the next episode. We're listening. But before all that, I was talking about Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2. Game got delayed. Everybody got pissed. Game information, game storyline leaked. Everybody got pissed. Game releases, gets like a 34 user score. Everybody's pissed. Don't let that reflect the actual game, because I've been hearing mixed reviews. I hear people like, oh man, this game's great. It makes me feel a lot of things. And then there's a lot of people who are like, I just wish there was more after all the delays and like, you know, how it's supposed to be much better than the first.
You see, that's the part I have grief with. Also, kudos to me for not, one, seeing the leaks or the spoilers, because I never saw that, which means I've been living under a rock. Two,
really patting yourself on the back for that one.
you know, I got to do it at some point. Two, I was supposed to stream it on Friday, but I didn't receive the game. So I've been stuck avoiding Reddit, Tumblr, Twitter, any form of social media you can think of, just so I can not see the disappointment.
Oh, and wonderful. I get to ruin it for you right now then.
And see, I saved myself for prime punishment for you guys here at the ChungaBunga Podcast.
Thank you. But yes, like I said, I've been hearing good things. I've been hearing bad things. I haven't played it yet. I will eventually play it. I'm hoping anybody who has played it and likes The Last of Us has had a really enjoyable time, because I know that the studio gives a fuck, especially with Crash Bandicoot 4 coming.
That took me out. That caught me off guard, if I'm being honest. Like, I didn't think with the success of the remastered trilogy that they did, and then they released Crash Racing after? Or re-released it?
Yeah.
I never thought we would get Crash 4, and wow, I'm excited.
All I can say about The Last of Us Part 2, because out of respect for our guest here, I will not give a review of the game yet.
I appreciate that.
But I will say that I know a lot of news sites are reporting that the leaks that had happened weren't like that big, but as someone who watched the footage, I can say that a vast majority of the gameplay of the campaign was leaked online for people to watch.
Actually, the one thing I want to know, and the one thing I'm willing to let be spoiled for myself, is I had heard or read somewhere, either on Twitter or the internet, that the reason that the game got its M rating was over a dog scene.
The
Unless
dog
that was a
that,
meme.
yeah,
Oh,
the
it
dog
was
that
dog.
cursed and smoked cigars or something.
That was an Onion article. When
You're
I saw
kidding.
that. I swear to you. That
Oh.
was
You know, what's his face? The comic insulting dog? The insulting comic dog?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Courage. Wait, Courage?
The
No.
Conan dog. I can't remember
Yeah.
his name.
You mean Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Triumph.
Yeah, just
yeah.
Triumph.
There are plenty of reasons why that game got that score. I mean, there's I'll say a spicy scene that's that's pretty explicit for a video game.
Okay.
So there are plenty of reasons why I don't want to drop too many details, you know, for our viewers and for you, because I know you're genuinely interested in the game, which you know I truly hope that you like it, because I thought it was garbage. But
I mean, to my credit, you're also a big fan of Destiny and Destiny 2. Destiny 2's hot garbage, so it's
which means I know what garbage is.
fair point.
I don't
No,
know if
but
that's how that works.
for me, I was a big fan of the first one. I loved the first one. It was a beautiful story, and like I said, I'm a sucker for really good single player campaigns. And the fact that we've waited for so long for the sequel, I as much as I want to be excited for it, based on everything I'm hearing, I have a low bar. Like I don't want to set myself up for failure, but I am gonna play it tomorrow because I am receiving it tomorrow. So I will be streaming that on my channel, which is twitch.tv/Ramigali, and we'll get through it. So hopefully I'm not let down too particularly. But if I am, I will let you guys know immediately.
Cool. Perfect. There's one topic that I wanted to put a little emphasis on. Hopefully, Chris would also like to put some emphasis on it. We saw the Escape from Tarkov map pretty recently.
But yeah, Streets of Tarkov, we saw a lot of like super cool stuff, right? We saw the like just the environment, the updates that they're doing for performance. We saw quite a few things. Like we're definitely excited for that.
But yeah, Streets of Tarkov. We saw the footage. It looks incredible. I mean, it almost looked. I think even you alluded to this as well, Ish. Like visually, graphically, like it looks a bit better than what we've seen in other maps. Like the atmosphere, the environment is a lot more populated. It's gonna have like a mixture of like, you know, elevated fights because you can go in like various buildings. It's gonna have close quarter combat. I mean, the buildings look like they have a lot of depth into them. From what I've been hearing, they're trying to shoot for like, I think like over like 20 players for that map, which we'll see how that works out considering how their other maps have been performing. Man, it's really, really exciting, especially when they talk about having stuff like a helicopter extraction in the map. It's gonna be wild. It's supposed to be coming out, I believe, because right now we're at patch 12.6. I think this is coming out in patch 13, which is maybe like 6 months away ish, I want to say, give or take.
I've played Tarkov. You know, every so often I'll go on and I'll play. 6 months, dude. That's a long fucking time.
Well, between then is when they're gonna have patch 12.7, which they'll be expanding on their map customs, and at least they're touting maybe like a 30 to 40% increase to that map size with that expansion. And I've seen some pictures of it. It looks like they're adding some new buildings. I know the expansions also might be another spawn location for the scav boss of that area. I mean, they're still working on implementing more aspects of Steam audio into the game, with their first implementation being in patch 12.6. It has a bright future. I'll be interested to see when that new map actually comes out. But we have a lot of good things to look forward to between then, especially they're going to be adding a new enemy faction, the Cultists, who only come out at night, stealth takedowns, poison tip daggers. They're going to have their own units and bosses. Yeah, it's a lot of good things to look forward to.
Yeah, hopefully it brings me back to actually look at Tarkov in a positive light, because I feel like I've been really negative on it just on my personal experience with the game. Hopefully it does something to produce some smiles instead of some really grumpy ass frowns that I've been giving it. We got something here. Kill wanted to know if we know anything about the rumors for FF16 and what's going on with Yoshi P and Ryota Suzuki. So what I do know, I know this is a special case because we're doing this live, but what I do know is Yoshi P was talking about any future Final Fantasy games from 16 on. There's no real plan for doing an MMO. As far as his big project, I can't give you too much information about that, just because it's something that I haven't researched enough yet to give like a cohesive piece of information about. And as far as Ryota, I just know that he's working on really high budget project, so I'm going to assume it's going to be something along the lines of Devil May Cry, just because he's good at that type of fighting style battle system.
It makes sense for them to bring him on for that because he's pretty good at that.
So,
oh yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say, so like the Yoshi P, I think he actually, a lot of his like attention went towards the Project Athia, like that whole demo and stuff that they showed off, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, for Project Athia, you're talking about?
Yeah,
right.
Athia, yeah. But as far as the Rhoda, I don't know anything about him.
Ryota Suzuki was a designer for Devil May Cry 5 and Dragon's Dogma, so he was under Capcom for a good minute, and then he joined Square Enix as the battle director for a new title, apparently. But
I mean, if they're hiring more people, they're probably going to do something big. If they're still hiring more people, if they hired people within the last 2 years, then they're probably still working on something new, right? Because it takes a long time to make a game.
It really does. But if they bring him on, I mean, he's also behind Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like Darkstalkers, and Capcom vs. SNK. Like, imagine if they, hot take, did a Square Enix fighting game that was better than Dissidia, because we don't talk about Dissidia.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know that we have someone that has like fast-paced action in mind, especially for something that's like Final Fantasy. The last fast-paced action for Final Fantasy was 15. And like there was something definitely lacking in the battle system. It all looked
the
turn-based,
really cool. Dude. I miss the turn-based action that Final Fantasy used to have.
Second,
but Final Fantasy VII Remake actually got it down to a good hybrid. Have you guys checked that out?
I haven't, because I sold my PlayStation before it came out when I moved, and I just haven't gotten a new one. So I'm gonna wait until 5.
Here's an upside.
Released.
You have a PC, get it for PC. Like, it's unparalleled.
Did they release
it's multi-platform.
It's
multi-platform.
It's in Steam Store now, right?
Yeah.
So, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I promise you, they got a really good hybrid battle system between turn by turn and the Final Fantasy 15 combat system. So it's basically what I wanted 15 to have that they didn't have.
Can you explain the combat system really quick?
I think when you open, I think Ish might know more, but when you open up the combat menu with an L1 button or something, it kind of slows down the battle in real time, so you can choose out your command options and then initiate it. And then you can also, I think if they kept the same mechanics, you can switch between characters in the game.
Yes, you can freely switch between characters. Not like mid-combo, but, when your actions are done.
Mm-hmm. And then they give you a time, like a wait and an action time like they did before, but they don't show you the progress bar. It's just knowing the enemy and like their speed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like maybe something like Pillars of Eternity with like real time with pause.
Okay, so really quick, it is not a multi-platform. It's PS4 only.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Hold on.
I think Final Fantasy VII remastered
Remastered is
Might
yes, but
be-
remake is not.
on Steam or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hasn't been confirmed yet. It was the remastered. That is my bad. You do need a PlayStation.
Giving you
That's
guys the most up to date, most fact check
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yes, and we are willing to correct ourselves.
I think we just assumed that it would be on the superior platform.
Yeah.
Fair.
Cough, cough. Square.
I
I
mean,
mean,
if you like things that are more old Final Fantasy, but not like too old, I believe I heard there was going to be a remake or remaster of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And if you guys never played that because you didn't have friends with Game Boys, something to look into, something to definitely play because that game was radical.
I would have been a way better gamer if I were friends with you when we were teenagers, because no one has ever mentioned that game to me, and I'm disappointed. Just like was it Chrono Trigger? Yeah, Chrono Trigger. No one ever recommended that to me either.
Yeah. Well, I didn't play Earthbound until I was well into my like mid 20s.
At least you played Earthbound.
But still, good game to play. Another game that had that same system was what is it? Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventures? Or what was it? That's the one that you had to hook up the Game Boys to play.
Oh, I remember
I
that.
remember that.
If you had a Game Boy, it would show you the map and the dungeon map and everything on the side.
Wait, was this Game Boy Advance, or was this like the remastered for like the DSs and above? Because there were two versions of it.
This was the Game Boy Advance. This is that weird like angular.
I
Game Boy
remember.
Advance before
Yeah.
SP came out.
So, for those of you that don't know, the way that you played multiplayer for these Game Boy Advance games is you had to buy this clunky like link cable, and they actually learned from their mistakes with the Game Boy Color, and they created one that had like a 4 kind of connector hub or
Yeah.
something, or like or whatever. It connects to 4 Game Boy Advances so you can play these games. So you're walking around with like this pouch and accessory with a Game Boy with games, and like whipping out cables, going, "Hey, do you have this game? Cool, let's link up."
Dude, I remember playing Battle Network in middle school, and some dude that I knew had that shit. I remember even before then, like the Game Boy had this gigantic suitcase full of shit that was like a giant Game Boy.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
The design of it was a giant Game Boy, and it was like a suitcase.
Jesus. I remember the Game Boy Color had these really Velcro looking pouches with compartments. You slide in the Game Boy Color, like 6 games at the top, extra batteries in your link cables, and it's like attachable to your belt. It was just like the weirdest thing for a 10-year-old to have.
Man.
Kids today will never know.
They'll never know
I
the
just
struggle.
just
of not
remember.
having- No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just remember playing the Game Boy Colors and stuff like that before the DSs and all that stuff was out. I remember trying to play that in the car, and I just had to like make a slightest movement every time, like when it was nighttime in the car. I had to make the slightest movement every time we went over a street light.
Yes, the struggle of beating the Elite Four for gold and silver under the cover of night. Oh, Jesus.
That's why you rock a flashlight in your mouth, or you you put it on your shoulder and hold it between your shoulder and your head. Like, you gotta jimmy something together.
Or
That's
you buy those really weird knockoff Pelican lights that they sold you at Toys R Us that also drained your battery life while you were playing.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me just let me let you know something, just so you know. I didn't know this for the longest time, but saying Jimmy or Jimmy Rig is actually racist, and you shouldn't say it.
Oh no.
How about MacGyver? How about we MacGyver something?
Yeah, MacGyver is the best, dude. You can just say rig, like rig something together, but
Yeah.
no, I
MacGyver
love
or Rig.
MacGyver. The first episode of MacGyver is the most stereotypically used MacGyver reference too. Is like, yeah, I'm gonna do this with a
paperclip?
straw, a paper clip, and a rubber band, and I'm gonna take out these 4 guards. It's like,
And you're just like, how?
So, Cody was talking about having the Game Boy Color. So at our house, we had the original Game Boy, the giant brick unit.
Oh my God.
That is the most versatile, durable, amazing console I've ever owned in my life.
I will second that.
I put it against this, like, it was like a big spotlight. I put it on top of the spotlight because I was like, I don't remember. I think I was tying my shoe when I was a little kid. And it melted through the Game Boy to the little, like behind the speaker and where all the batteries go. right? And I was super freaking out. Oh my god, I turned it off. I turned it back on like 5 minutes later because I'm stupid. Still worked.
And it worked.
Still to this day. I bet you if I can find it, still to this day, it would work.
At least you can find yours. Mine had the unfortunate water spill when I was a preteen. And it was a really durable console, and I did love the Super Mario Land game for it. That was the one game that my mom put me on when I was 5 years old. I did not put down or stop playing it until well into my teens. Like Super Mario Land was A1.
Yeah, that game was awesome. I was lucky enough to have World as well.
Ooh.
So I was just on Super Mario World all the time.
Dude,
Yeah.
Super Mario World is arguably, in my defense, one of the best Mario games, past, present, and future, and we can fight each other on this. Like, it is better than Super Mario Odyssey. It is better than Super Mario Sunshine. Fight me. I will defend Super Mario World till my grave.
I think you're wrong. I think Super Mario
Ooh.
Sunshine and Super Mario Odyssey are way better games than Super Mario World. But that's my opinion completely.
I'm also biased because that was the first Mario game I ever owned for a console.
That's fair. I'm biased because Super Metroid is my favorite game ever, and I don't think any game has ever been better than it. Even though I know that Zero Mission is better than it, Super Metroid is still a way better game to me.
You know what console game I missed, but I can't remember what it was called. It was for the Sega Genesis, right? It was like a mech warrior game where you like go through the map. It was like a side scroller. You go through the map, and like you can alter your mech each level, and like you could have a bulkier bottom side and like a less bulky top side, so that you could like jump further, be more durable. Like you could change everything about it. Each component had different stats.
So many
Somebody in the
gems lost the
audience.
time.
Somebody in the audience, please look that up for us.
And while you're at it, I think was there like a level on that mech game where you were somehow on a spaceship going in outer space?
I don't recall, man. I was so young and I just don't remember exactly.
Because I played a mech game just like that for the Super Nintendo, so I wonder if it was dual platform at the time.
I don't know.
I just remember it was the Sega Genesis, and it was like a mech game. I don't know if it was Mech Warrior. I just know it was a mech game.
I don't know. All I remember Sega Genesis. Well, what I remember the most Sega Genesis was playing. I think it was Mickey and Donald World of Illusion, and I know Kiltridge knows exactly what I'm talking about. I would love for him to give me that. Yeah, I remember those days. Those were awesome.
Yeah, man.
Because that game was so good.
Disney games were enjoyable back then.
Oh heck yeah! And then I remember playing a lot of Comic Zone.
Oh, I to this day have never been able to beat the final boss.
This day can't beat the second level.
Really?
But right, I can beat.
That's interesting, actually. Tell me games that you guys like could never have beat. Like you just couldn't beat at the time.
Wakanda Forever, man, for Sega Genesis.
Oh, dude, Comic Zone for sure. Sega Genesis. I could never beat. What's it called? Super Mario World. I didn't beat it until I was 15.
Ouch.
Like, yeah, I had it since I was 5 years old, and I couldn't beat it until I was 15. Donkey Kong Country as well.
I remember.
I still haven't finished Donkey Kong 64. I still haven't finished. Damn, I have to look at this whole laundry list of games. I still haven't finished The Evil Within 2.
That sucks because that game's dope.
I know. I need to. I still haven't finished South Park: The Fractured Butthole, the DLC.
Oh no.
Oh, the DLC. Okay.
Yeah, I still haven't finished.
That was such a weird game to beat. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. My daughter and I were playing Fractured Butthole together. We were going through the story mode together.
Questionable parenting, but sure.
Whatever, man. We were playing it together. That was our bonding time for video games because my daughter doesn't play video games, but she loves South Park.
Okay.
So, and she was doing the last like 3 boss encounters, you know?
So and Jared from Subway, Randy, and I forgot who else.
All of that. She did all of those, and she beat the game. But there's like the weirdest transition from final boss to end of game. It almost seems like they didn't know how to finish the game, so it just transitioned seamlessly. It's like, it's over. Open.
Yeah. That's kind of what took me out too, because then I thought that maybe the DLC would finish it or do something. So there was one of the DLC they made where was it Timmy? Yeah, Timmy, the one in the wheelchair. He's like Professor X, and he sends you on the side quest, so you end up at Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
And that's where I left off. But I haven't seen like a definitive like this is the end for that story.
All right, we're taking this over a little bit. Cody, Chris, do you guys have games that you just couldn't beat, whether it was in your childhood or your adulthood?
You know,
I remember
Like, go
those-
on.
I remember those old Super Nintendo Star Wars games were a pain in the ass.
I never played them.
They
See, I
they,
think,
they were a pain.
Kills got you here on the chat.
man, let's see.
Oh.
I'll look these up. I don't know.
Yo, for real, those are pretty good.
That's a lot of mech games for Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't-
Sega Genesis and Dreamcast were easily like the most loaded generations for games.
So I
don't know,
think it
man.
might be a Mech Warrior game, right? But I don't
Could be.
recognize the style.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff. We'll give you guys an answer eventually.
Eventually, man.
Eventually.
But the fact that there are so many, I'd rather have many than none.
So
I'd
for
ra-
me, the
I'd-
only game that I like, I think I beat it once, right? Is that stupid little game where you have to get the disease everywhere around the world, and it's like a stupid little mobile game.
Yeah, it's called 2020. It's called Our Life.
No,
2020.
no.
Oh man,
No,
Be
no,
had me
real.
for a second. You had me for a second. I was like, those
Contagion or
game
something, right?
developers.
Is it
I think
Contagion?
it's called Pandemic or
Pandemic, something like
Contagion or
that.
some shit like that.
I think I beat that once, man. I always get stuck with that stupid ass freaking what's that island that nobody like, it's so hard to get?
Guam?
No. Man, I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember, but yeah.
Some
dude.
island out in the Pacific.
Other than that, it's not like most games, like single player games, I don't really have much problem beating. It might take a little while, but most of the time when it takes a while, it's because I'm sitting there looting everything I could possibly loot before I go to end the game.
Yeah, that's how I am with the Castlevania games, like the Metroidvania ones. I have to
Ooh.
get everything. I need it in my life.
Killtridge says Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like, it's so rich, but like, man, I can't get in. I started it and I just couldn't keep going. It just seemed like so much, man.
and that's why you'll be able to finish it when you play with your friends.
No, I tried playing
Right
with-
here. Yeah, we'll get you through it.
That's my fault. That's my fault, and it's something that Kill has mentioned it to me. It's like I was so intent on speed running that game, even though we were all playing together, that I set the pace way too fast, so it was really hard to enjoy it.
Actually,
That's on
I
me.
I could agree with that. Like when I would try to play with you, I would try to like read story stuff, and you kind of skip through it. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on.
Dude,
See,
I want to get it. I want to get that speed run, like world fastest speed run for Divinity Original Sin 2.
I could never do that. I'm that gamer that reads the dialogue. I am so sorry.
I have read everything in that game multiple times. I've read the entire story like 10 times at least.
Jeez.
I'm ready to just destroy everything.
Oh man.
Oh, that's good news, I suppose.
So let's flip it for a second. We talked about games that we never could finish. How about the games that we were glad we finished?
I'll
Oh.
tell you one that I'm glad I've finished multiple times. Final Fantasy X, dude. I don't know why, but I
Oh,
could play
yeah.
that game so many times. Like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VII, even like Dark Souls games I've played, like done multiple playthroughs, and I just love them. I don't know.
For me, I would also say Final Fantasy X because I bought that game PS2, PS Vita, PS3, PS4, and PC.
You hear that? That's the one PS Vita sale right there. Like, out of the
Oh.
entirety of the lifetime. That's the one person who bought a Vita.
Who
The one
hell
person that
bought
kept the-
this game for PS Vita.
The one that kept the PS Vita alive.
Right.
And
It was
then
you.
it was
Rest in
me.
peace.
For sure, Devil May Cry 3. I don't know why, but every time I play that game, it makes me feel some type of way. So I've rebought that game and replayed it over and
Oh,
over.
man.
That's
Oh.
a good one.
And Grandia 2 for anyone that knows obscure RPGs.
That is also a good one.
That one hits me right in the feels. The combat system and everything was amazing in that game, and no other game has been able to get close to it.
What about you, Chris? You got one?
So I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Like a lot of hate for this.
It cannot be Destiny 2.
Please
No,
don't say
no,
Destiny.
no. I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna be happy when I finish that game. But the game that I was happy when I finished. So I tried playing. I mean, Ish and Cody can tell you. I tried getting behind the whole Dark Souls thing. At least for me, I just like it just couldn't hold my interest. So
But
I
did you
stopped
beat
playing
it?
them.
But
No,
did you beat it?
I'm getting there. The one game that was kind of like that was Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order,
That one was disappointing for me.
and that's what I'm saying. See, me, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I'm not used to playing those types of games, so I don't know like exactly what was wrong with it in comparison to like Dark Souls, but it was really hard for me. So when I beat it, oh,
Like,
it felt fucking good.
I think I'm a little more biased because I played The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, and it ran the same, almost identical to The Fallen Order, and that's why I really wasn't too impressed by it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too.
Hey, see, I never played like the Force Unleashed games either. So I
Yeah.
think like just going in like without that experience, like for me, it was just a really rewarding game to beat. Because for me, it was extremely difficult to beat.
Yeah, like I really liked a lot of the changes they made for that game. Like I gave them kudos for at least listening to some of their like fans, because these were some things we wish they would have addressed in The Force Unleashed. But it's still kind of like pigeonholed into the same universe story. Like I wish they would just expand or go somewhere else instead of just keep focusing on like the whole Darth Vader and like the Jedi younglings and blah 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 blah.
See, I was gonna bring it up at some point where it's like it's been a long time since we've had like a good Star Wars game in terms of like a campaign mode,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of getting excited because Squadron got announced, and then I got super mad when I was like, oh yeah, EA.
Very true.
Anything EA touches pretty much dies.
I mean, without opening Pandora's box of Star Wars debates, me personally, I agree with you. Like they really need to like step out of their comfort zone. Like I like the story in Jedi Fallen Order, but man, they gotta broaden the horizon, man. Like that's a big galaxy. There's a lot of stories and time periods they can cover.
That's
Like
why I love like the Old Republic. That one was a great one.
KOTOR.
yeah, exactly.
KOTOR's a good set of games.
One day we
Uh,
will talk about Star Wars, though.
Oh, we should. We can talk Knights of the Old Republic for days.
All right,
We'll,
so
even, we'll probably even have you back on for that.
Yeah, I'm down.
So quick plug before we kind of start wrapping things up. We've got a Discord. If you check out our Twitch or Facebook or wherever, we're gonna have links pretty much everywhere. But yeah, join our Discord. We have we hang out in there often. We have like little bots that kind of have gaming news updates, patch notes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you want to just come hang out or use it for patch notes, whatever.
Our OnlyFans is coming out soon.
Chris is
Yes.
OnlyFans.
And don't
it's
forget
also
their
free.
Patreon.
So the OnlyFans is free, but the Patreon is gonna cost you.
That's how they get you.
That's how we get you. But yes, it is time for our guest of honor, Ramagali. It's time for him to give you a little bit about himself and his, projects. So whenever you're ready, man.
Oh, man, no pressure. Well, a little bit about me. I'm born and raised in LA, so I'm an LA native. That's rare. I've been a gamer since I've been old enough to remember anything. I started out with a Game Boy, like a regular, like bullet case Game Boy, and working my way up to console and PC all these years. And I focus more primarily on fighting games and shooters and, anything that captures me with a good story. But lately, what I've been working on is my Twitch channel. So as Ish mentioned, twitch.tv/RamiGalley. I stream Apex, Dragon Ball Fighters, Overwatch, and a couple other games in between, which means I will be streaming The Last of Us 2 hopefully tomorrow, Monday, June 22nd, because this will already have been a thing. And that's pretty much all I have lined up outside of just editing and clipping the YouTube videos. Speaking of, I have the Twitch stream of yesterday's stream of Out of Reach on my YouTube channel with these dudes, which will be amazing if you guys check out because some hilarity had happened, as you heard earlier. That's pretty much all I've got, really, unless you guys want to just bombard me with a Q&A or something. But yeah.
What would be your ideal first date?
Oh man. Damn. I mean, anything that involves video gaming. No, I'm kidding.
Final Fantasy
although
10 and some beer.
you know, no,
Ball and some beer, brother.
no, honestly, I'm a simple dude. Just take me out of a bar, chat me up, and like watch TV with me. I'm very low maintenance. But shout out to my girlfriend out there. I think she's listening. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I'm pretty simple dude.
That's cool, man. That's cool, and I hopefully you guys check out his channel. He's got some good stuff there.
Yeah.
I'll be there every so often.
Oh yeah, come watch him get beat down on Dragon Ball Fighters, and when he takes me for a rope, you guys will laugh at me for laughing at him.
Yeah, I can't believe you losing to somebody who plays it once a month, if that.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I did make mention at the beginning of the cast that it's because of the rollback netcode that they don't have. So I'm gonna keep using that whenever you get me.
Yeah, whatever. I live like 10 minutes away from you.
Excuse
Doesn't
though.
matter.
I'm gonna save that.
But yeah, that'll be the podcast. I just want to add one thing. We didn't get to my game. The game I was so happy that I finished. More on that next week. No, I'm just kidding. It was Dark Souls. it was the first Dark Souls, and I know I've been mentioning Kill a lot, but he was there when I started the first Dark Souls because he's the one who brought it to my attention. I was glad I beat it. There was like this weird sense of accomplishment and incredible sadness when it was over. That game to this day still gives me the hardest feels of any game that I've played. It's 100% anger, but if there's like a maximum of 200%, then it's another 100% incredible sadness. But that game is dope.
Yeah, thinking back, I kind of felt the same way with Dark Souls 2. Man,
that game made me sad because it was not good.
You see,
I love Dark Souls 2,
man.
dude.
When I hear things like that, I never want to play it. Like I still have yet to touch that game.
It's a great game. It's so good.
So I was super hype on Dark Souls 2. You were there. I was talking about it all the fucking time, right? And then 300 something hours hits, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe the like hype is gone, and now I'm looking at this game with like real eyes. That game's not good. That game's not. The only good thing about that game is fucking the power stance system, and that's never been in anything else ever.
I mean, the power stance system was good. I liked the DLC. All right, the DLC was good. I don't care what you say. The only thing that I didn't really like was the king, like powering up the king or something.
I think King Vendrick was an awesome part of that game, just like Gwyn was an awesome part of Part 1. I think they took a lot of liberties from Gwyn and his story and brought it to Vendrick, and even the DLC.
Oh, well, I liked 1 for for a lot of reasons, but my favorite. Never mind.
No. My favorite
Another illusion, dude.
my favorite part was beating Ornstein and Smo and opening that door. That was like the most relieving bonfire ever. I loved it. There was nothing about that room that was, weird. It was just peaceful, and it's my favorite bonfire in the entire game.
Now I have to check out this bonfire. I have to at least watch someone play this or play it myself.
I
was talking about.
I don't care.
Guinevere.
No, I know what you were talking about. I know exactly what you were talking about.
I was upset when it was illusion. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, no, Killtridge. Yeah. I feel you, man. That was the first one. I didn't play Demon Souls, so I tried to go back and play Demon Souls, and it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes when I'm so used to like games these days, modern games, I can't go back and play older games, and Demon Souls was one of them. But I started out with Dark Souls 1, freaking loved it. I sucked at it. It took forever for me to beat it. I think I only beat it because Ish helped me out through most of it. And then Dark Souls 2, I played it with my wife. We both loved it. It was awesome. And Dark Souls 3, I think she kind of she just didn't play that one with me or something. She just wanted to watch me play it. I don't remember. But yeah, that was the whole trilogy is just awesome. Everything about it, like the scenery, like looking off in the distance, the combat, the soundtrack, like everything about Dark Souls is just a masterpiece. I love it. I love the series.
Minus the netcode.
Yeah, the netcode, yeah, that can definitely use some help.
Every game could use netcode help.
Especially Street Fighter. But the Souls games are awesome. I mean, it's blasphemy not to add Bloodborne to that equation, because that is definitely a way to take a battle system and an engine and make it better every single way.
How is Bloodborne like significantly different? Because when I look at it as someone who hasn't really played those games, I just see like a straight copy.
Bloodborne's significantly different in its battle style, whereas Dark Souls games, you want to be more calm and collected. You want to take hits on your shield and respond back with an attack of your own. It's a lot slower paced combat. Whereas Bloodborne, there is no shield. You get one in the entire game and you never use it. You straight up just are fighting. It's 1-on-1, 1-on-2, one on a group of people fighting. So where in Dark Souls you just take damage and you have healing items, Bloodborne, if you take damage, it's all chip damage, and if you attack back, you're rewarded that damage back.
Yeah, you can life steal a little bit back, up to a certain amount. But like, I think the biggest difference is like the weapons. Like, you don't have the vast arsenal that Dark Souls does. Demon Souls, you're pretty much limited to just, a melee weapon and a gun for the most part.
Jesus.
Bloodborne is definitely.
So what you're saying is, for someone that likes fast-paced action and adventure, Bloodborne.
Yeah, it's also extremely hard. It's also
it's harder, much harder.
It's probably the hardest of all of those.
Oh man,
minus Demon Souls, because that game was hard because it was programmed terribly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bloodborne is different in the sense where it encourages aggressive like fighting, and discourages like running back to the bonfire and like trying again. It's more about pushing through the difficulty and getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Dark Souls, you can there's a lot of liberties you can take with like cheesing enemies or bosses. Yeah. And
the coolest part about Bloodborne is looking at the speed run. You see that guy speed run the whole thing using like the coolest glitches that you never knew existed. Oh my goodness.
I saw him beat it in like 30 something minutes and got it upset.
What?
Yeah.
Speedrunners freak me out, man. They find ways to beat games and like I can't even conceive of how they even thought of that.
Whatever, dude. I 0% beat fucking Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past in like 9 minutes.
No, the current world record, by the way, is just under 20 minutes for Bloodborne.
Wow.
Yeah, that game took me 9 hours plus, by the way.
What?
That game with the old hunters took me like 32 hours to beat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With the old. Oh my goodness.
Oh god.
Just because I went magic build I went blood tidge / magic build.
Yeah.
And I did all of the challenge dungeons. I did all of it.
Oh, I still haven't done them all. All right, man. It's an action-packed episode here.
Yeah, definitely. Super aggressive. If you guys just hit us when you see us on the street, you might get some of your life back. So just like Bloodborne.
well, maybe from them, not for me. You'll probably get a retaliatory counterattack.
Yeah, maybe. But that's because you play a bunch of fighting games.
Oh yeah, you gotta have your timing right.
Well, you play Devil May Cry, so you're always on Royal Guard.
That's right. I always gotta have that Royal Guard.
But with that is the ChungaBunga Podcast for this week. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to come listen to us. If you guys didn't listen to the live stream, there's going to be our episodes out on every podcasting site that you guys can think of, as per usual. And that's it. I mean, we're more than likely going to be doing this weekly on a live basis and then recording it and sending it to the rest of the wonderful people that listen to us.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a special thanks to Ramiro for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's
yeah.
been a real pleasure, playing with you guys an obscure demo and shooting the shit with you guys now. I can't say
And definitely have gotten the interest in perhaps streaming the Souls games.
Yeah.
So,
maybe. I'll keep you guys posted.
Yes, we will also probably be doing that. If not on this Twitch channel, we will be doing it on another one. All links will be in the description. As far as links for where to find Ramiro, that will also be on the description.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate that.
And maybe if we do a Divinity 2 run through, we can bring him back as a guest for that as well.
Hey, I would love to.
Definitely.
I'm sit my
ass in the corner and just be a straight up healer. I'm doing 0 damage. You guys will take control of the pasting. 100%.
Fair warning, I'm just gonna run in there and I'm gonna be the first person that needs healing.
Genji.
Yeah, Hanzo. If you're gonna do the right Shimada brother, insult me correctly.
No, it's Genji. the whole meme
Genji.
is definitely Genji.
100%. Anytime
coming from a grandmaster in Overwatch, it's definitely Genji.
And if you think that's a joke, it's not. Cody's grandmaster.
I believe it. Oh god. But yeah, bring me back for that and the Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, links in the description. Right. Thanks again for joining us. Chris, Cody, you guys have anything to say to these beautiful people before we get off?
No, just thanks Ramiro, and thanks especially Kiltridge for the engaging in Twitch chat. So yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming on, and I hope Steel Series sponsors us one day.
Yes. And if Taco Bell is listening to this, please, I will do anything.
Yo quiero your tacos.
I don't want the tacos. Just give me the Baja Blast.
Yeah, Baja Blast.
Baja Blast. There you go.
A fountain.
Yeah. Just can you put a fountain in my house with Baja Blast?
All right, man. All right. Well, that's the end of the stream, and I guess the end of the podcast. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.
Stay classy.
Last word.